got to see in both divisions. They'll be looking to do the exact same thing here in season number 28. Ladies and gentlemen, my name Mac Nelson. Alongside me is going to be Mike Taylor on the production here. And Mike, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is your first time seeing Apex this in action. So, what do you have to expect here tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm absolutely excited to see the Apex this guys absolutely just kill it here at Nürburgring. One of the things I love about this circuit is it's on like any other circuit out there. And we are running the Grand Prix circuit, so we're not going to get to go into, well, the really big outer section of this track. But you know what? This portion of the track is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, I have to agree, Mike. Could not say it any better my own self. So, what we will do, we'll get you guys acquainted with the track, although you probably did see it on the Tuesday edition of the Apex This Porsche Cup Tuesday Series. But here we are Sunday taking it in the Miatas. It's going to be the Nürburgring Grand Prix track, no chicane. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe we have 13, 14, 15 corners. Very shortly. I believe we are going to be dealing with 21 degrees Celsius. Heading into things tonight might be a little hasty. One corner might feel like ice, while the other corner feels perfectly fine. Wind blowing 7 degrees, or 7 miles an hour, I should say. I apologize for that. No rain in sight, so we should be very okay there. And big ups, welcome to everybody here in the chat. Jen chatting for Mike Brock. And Jen is saying we cannot hear me, so I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. Might be able to maybe get a little bit of a volume adjustment. I know as somebody who does production as well, I know getting the mic levels and all that is one heck of a job. So big shout out to Mike Taylor for taking the reins on a new series here tonight because of my internet service provider problems, my my war that I've been fighting with Mediacom for weeks, now months. It only seems to be getting worse. So, very, very unfortunate. But I believe we are here. We are back. And now we will get into the calendar right before this qualifying session is over. So round 1 this week, we have the Nürburgring GP no chicane circuit. We go to Alton Park next week. That is for round 2. Round 3, going to see the Daytona Road Course. Round 4, back in Road Atlanta, where we saw the championship race, I apologize, take place at the end of last season. Round 5, going to be at Brands Hatch, Watkins Glen. We'll mark the halfway point in the season before we head to Sebring, and then Zandvoort, and then St. Petersburg, and then to the Emilia-Romagna region of Italy. We go to Imola. Monza will also be on the calendar, so back-to-back Italy special. And then we head to Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps for our championship round. And all these tracks, Mike, now, unfortunately, you didn't really get to see any of it last season if you weren't just an Apex This Racing fan to begin with. But these drivers The tracks that they race on this calendar are oh so good, and it's just so refreshing to see these guys take on different tracks every single week. You've got short, you've got long, you've got fast, and you've got slow and technical.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, not only we got smooth, but we also got bumpiness over in Sebring. I mean, we are throwing it at everything this season in Apex this, and let me tell you what, like you said, we got slow tracks, fast tracks, we got Daytona, we've got Spa, and then we've got the tight corners of St. Petersburg. You know, so I mean, we've got it all here, and man, I'm excited to get this thing up and running.
Yes, sir. And speaking of up and running, drivers now taking to the field. So that means only one thing. It's ready. It is time. We are ready. I'm mixing up my words again. We're ready to go racing. Let's get you started with the starting grid.
Turn that down.
And in pole position, who else, man, than the 07 of Joshua Soto, part of Academy Sim Racing. He will be on row number 1 with Michael Brock in the 421. He will be in P2, coming off his one heck of a season. Thomas Lathrop in the number 84 with Charles Wolf in the 00. That is row number 2. Row number 3 is going to see the driver that reps Jamaica, Kurt Voss, with the Canadian, or no, not the Canadian, I'm sorry, the American Kelly Greenhoe in the 012. We have a newcomer in P7. That's going to be Jeremy Paleska with Joe Mayer in P8 season vet. Here at Apex, this P9 is going to be the Canadian John Cooper, who I'm very surprised to see take car number 9. But Sean Teeter, not quite the Monster Energy Beast 117 we saw him in the GT4 series, but it is going to be a very fast car in the number 117 Miata. Gregorio Almirano Jr. is going to be in P11 with Kent Kruger. In P12, Christopher Grotto will be in P13 with TPR. That's Tyler Pierre Richards. In P14, row number 8, Harrison Mealy and Corey Mitchell will round out that row. That will get you to 16th. 17th is going to be the Mad Motorsports driver of Michael Tanagretta with Ryan Ryder in P18. P19, Aaron Law, Mark Sherman in P20. As we have Jay Goodwin, Keegan Garrig getting us to 22nd. P23 is going to be Sean Gapinski with Sean Giroux in P24. And in row number 13 is going to be Pat Wilson, not to be confused with the NBA player Pat Wilson. Stan Hammond, who's always a regular in the chat when he's not racing, part of Sky Lounge Motorsports in P26. P27 is going to be the teammate, the colleague, Brian Zinn, Mr. Zinning himself, with Mr. Both Win in P28. And it looks like the roar of these Miatas are going. Greg Boyd, Dylan Foster are going to be rounding out our grid. We are green down into turn number 1. That's going to be Michael Brock. Joshua Soto on the inside. He has a good lunge, although taking the compromised inside line, he is going to be fitting in great. In that P1 there, you see Charles Wolf trying to fight off Thomas Lathrop. He takes it to the outside, and he is not able to get anything converted. There are a lot of Miatas here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got 30 cars here. We're going to be doing twin 20-minute heats just like last season. We'll invert the top 4 in heat race number 2. So in theory, if Thomas Lathrop were to finish in P4, if the race were to end right now, he would start race number 2 on pole down on the inside, but he's not looking to finish P4 here. That's going to be him on the inside of Charles Wolf. And don't sleep on the 012 of Kelly Greenhoe here. He's trying to put his nose into the picture and trying to claim P5. Jeremy Paleska, the newcomer, in P6, working his hardest to try to keep that thing solid. But a good close-up look of Charles Wolf there, currently running P3 in class, and that is going to be P3 overall as well.
This is...
But it looks to be a crazy battle still going on, and oh no, Michael Tanagretta is off. Not sure what happened to him there, but that's going to be the Mad Motorsport number 200 Miata up and off the racing surface. He's going to file in right in front of Sean Gapinski. There towards the back of your camera frame, you can see John Cooper going for a move down into the final chicane. And he is going to get past Kent Kruger there. That's good enough for P9. Oh, but hang on just a second. Kent Kruger coming back in the 39 around the final corner. He is going to what seemed like a slingshot around the newly crowned P9 of John Cooper, and that's going to be Kent Kruger taking his spot back, but now a drag race down into T1, and here comes TPR, Tyler Pierre Richards. He is going to squeeze his nose on the inside, going to be almost 3 wide at the apex of T1. John Cooper going to be the advantageous driver coming out of that one. And it looks like a battle in P17. Aaron Law, Stan Hammonds, Harrison Mealy, all vying for position. That's going to be for P16. There you get a right rear look at Kent Kruger. Gregorio A. Moreno Jr. in P15. He's going to, almost making contact with the Vans, number 181 of Ryan Ryder. As that was very, very close. As no, I believe that is the 305 of Christopher Croto, I believe. He is in the Vans car. That is a little bit of a mistake, getting all of these amazing liveries mixed up in my head. And hey, we're only 2 laps in, Mike, but this has been some pretty high-octane racing. What do you think so far?
Yeah, let me tell you what, seeing these 30 MX5 Cup cars going at it is absolutely phenomenal. You know, I started watching it more and more, you know, here in the real world, and let me tell you what, they always put on one heck of a show. And so when I saw that this was going to be MX5, I'm like, let's go. And
Yeah,
so far, they haven't disappointed me.
Yeah, I was going to say, not particularly the loudest roar you might hear out of a race car, but man, even though they are underpowered, they are still fun as heck to drive, and they are super, super difficult to extract that final 1% of pace out of. As you can see, Gregorio A. Moreno Jr. more than likely suffering an off track there, and that brings me to the perfect segue, ladies and gentlemen. 8 incident points are going to be the penalty threshold here in this race. These penalties do not carry over from race 1 to race 2, however. So as soon as the driver gets 8 incident points inside of a race, there's Thomas Lathrop. That's going to be 2 for losing control. He is going to be spinning out inside of turn number 1. He is going to have to rejoin and get back up to race speed in front of a very timid 4-car circus going on there. That is going to be your P8 through P12 drivers. I see Stan Hammonds there, I believe, as well as Christopher Croto. Thomas Lathrop in the 84, able to kind of stretch his legs in that Miata coming out of turn, what I believe is maybe 5 or 6. Not too good at remembering the turn names here as we get an on-board look at Stan Hammonds inside of his Miata. He is going to be right behind Mark Sherman in that 301. As we have a couple incidents we need to look through here very, very quickly. It looks like we've got Jay Goodwin in, things are looking a little dicey there heading into what I believe is the first corner of our second sector there. I believe it's turn 4 or 5. There's a look at Corey Mitchell, who kind of unfortunately got wrestled off the circuit heading down into the stretch in a wild rejoin, if I may be so blunt here. As the Peanut M&M car, I'm not entirely sure who that is. That's a new livery, one that is getting an S tier rating from me, however. As Spencer Beaudoin is just going to forfeit the chicane as well. This is another replay as Spencer Beaudoin, usually a very technically sound driver, never really... And now that, I'm just kind of completely unsure on that one. Usually never see that from Spencer Beaudoin. Down into turn number 1 here is going to be John Cooper. And that's just going to be just a nice little off track. Now it does count that as an incident, as an accident in the iRacing event tower. So producer Mike Taylor doing a very good job going back and noticing that. That is one of the few little quirks here, but good to note though, because that does mean John Cooper is going to have at least one more incident point, as the number 83 of Jeremy Pileska is now around. So that's going to be him. He was running in the top 5, maybe top 6, I believe. So that's going to be him, and he still has not rejoined the track. Very, very safe with his compared to the last few we've seen. Sean Teeter now in the 117. He sits in P5. That is going to be 5th overall as well. Or no, I apologize. That is going to be 1st. He is in the mid-pack Larry division. Battle for P7 here. That's going to be TPR, Tyler, Pierre Richards, and Thomas Lathrop in that number 84. Sky Lounge going with the beverage. Again, we see it a lot through their themed cars. They love having a good, nice, refreshing beverage as their livery. Cannot blame them. That one imitating Sprite, which, if you guys have never had a McDonald's Sprite, let me tell you, it will change your life. Drivers have completed 3 laps here, currently working on their 4th. Joshua Soto, I say it all the time, but he is unfortunately going to be the guy suffering from success here tonight, as he's not going to get too much airtime, strictly because he is just out and away. However, Michael Brock is only half a second behind him. So obviously that 07 and 421 battle, I want to say plagued us, but that's not a good connotation. We were very, very honored to watch them go to war almost every single race of the calendar last season. Now, it might be a plague for those two, because it seems like they just cannot get rid of each other. But man, oh man, the spice level, the entertainment level of the racing when those two get together, very, very fun. The Jamaican Kurt Moss in the 282 going to be running in P3. And then Kelly Greenhoe, who, oh no, into turn 1. That's going to be John Cooper. And then there's another car that spins out basically exactly where he is. That's going to be Stan Hammonds. So if I'm not mistaken, that's 2 separate Sky Lounge Motorsport drivers going around in turn number 1. Now, turn number 1, as Gregorio Amareno Jr., you see up there in the top, has a black flag for the 8 incident points. He must go serve that promptly, as halfway has just eclipsed through this race. As we take a look here at Gregorio Amareno Jr., this is what got him that black flag penalty, that mistake right there along. Oh no, and oh, that might have been a throttle getting stuck open or a brake pedal not working. That looks like hardware malfunction more than anything. We'll take another look. And yeah, Gregorio Amareno Jr., either that or no, that just almost looked willingly, as not entirely sure what happened there, as we get a good look at Sean Teeter now, who leads the mid-pack Larrys. As our mid-pack Larrys champion from last season did not make it, Mr. Nick Belasco, who, in customary fashion, would be joining the Going Pros roster because he won the mid-pack Larrys championship. He is not going to be here, and now that I think of it, Brian Lemke is not here as well. Now, we do know Brian Lemke has set himself up on a little bit of a dream course here lately, starting to race in real life. So, hey, if it was up to me, as much as I love Apex this, I love the entertainment, I love the racing that this series brings. It definitely would be way cooler to go race in real life, so I do not blame Mr. Lemke for that whatsoever. Pass for the lead now as Michael Brock getting past Joshua Soto. It was a deep dive into turn number 1, but Joshua Soto able to get that back on track. He is going to represent Antarctica. I have no idea if he's actually from there. If he was, that would be really, really cool. He would be the first person I've ever known to be from Antarctica. I don't even know how many people are from Antarctica, but more to the point, Michael Brock has been a thorn in the behind for Joshua Soto for almost 11 straight minutes. Make that 12 now, as we are just north of 12 minutes elapsed in this race. Less than 8 minutes to go. So just a few more laps for these Miata drivers here. And unfortunately, when it comes to our top 3, our provisional rostrum for the night, the only closeness is going to be Joshua Soto and Michael Brock. Kurt Moss is 6.5 seconds back from the 421 of Michael Brock. Kelly Greenhoe and Sean Teeter, however, are going to be right behind them, as you can see in almost the background of the currently focused frame. We saw the 282, the 012, and the 117. Thomas Lathrop going to be missing out on the top 5 currently, as he does sit in P6, but he has got a nice battle going on in his rearview mirror for P7. TPR, Ryan Ryder, and Charles Wolf have been battling over this position for a very long time now. As Tyler Pierre Richards seeming to have that kind of open right-hander as we head down the hill, starting to have that on lock. I noticed that a few laps ago he took that corner extremely well. Getting a look at this battle still here. Charles Wolf on the inside. Drag race down to the chicane. Who is on the brakes later? It's going to be Charles Wolf. And what a line through that chicane. But it's going to be a little too much. Maybe upset the car just a little too much. Ryan Ryder is going to get the advantage around the outside. But here we go. It's a repeat of a few corners ago. It's going to be Charles Wolf in a drag race with Ryan Ryder down into turn number 1. Who is going to hit the brakes later? Look for that front end to squat. Looks like Charles Wolf might have been quicker on the brakes there, but going to be a lot harder as he just carries a ton of momentum through turn number 1. That is going to be the position, the battle, and the fight done and dusted for Charles Wolf. We'll have to see if Ryan Ryder can make a comeback here soon. He's only got a little under 4 or 5.5 minutes, I apologize, to get this done. Drivers are on lap 7 now. They have completed 6. And a big battle going on for P16, John Cooper and Harrison Mealy. Now, both these drivers are in the mid-pack Larry division, so this fight is for position in class. Now, it does have their overall standing there, but we score the points on a class basis. And there are some points up on the board for being clean. However, with how this race number 1 is gone, I don't think we're going to be seeing any points for clean racing so far. Brian Zen going to be just in front of Harrison Mealy on track, as that is going to be the 82 of Brian Zen. My first race called with Mr. Brian Zen was an Apex this race, I do believe. He was with me for my first ever broadcast I did with Racer Nexus. Always been one heck of a teammate. I've hopped in the booth with him a couple of times. It's always nice seeing him out here in Apex this. To be honest, just straight up kind of running things in the GT4 side of things, but here in the Miatas, in that Going Pro division, he has not had the best of starts, so this battle happening in front of him is actually not going to concern him, as it is going to be a mid-pack Larry fight. I got that wrong here just a few minutes ago, but around the inside of our resident Donkey Kong, Mr. Keegan Garrick, always rocking that number 640 Donkey Kong livery. As we look ahead towards the AMG grandstands here at the Nürburgring, down into turn number 1 for Zenny. Is he going to have to deal with the impatience of any of these mid-pack Larrys? He is not going to. So that's going to be a clean gain and a little bit of an advantageous position for Brian Zinn. Michael Brock, for the lead update, is still behind half a second, as Joshua Soto and Michael Brock pretty much matching each other's lap times. Their best lap time actually goes to Michael Brock. That's going to be by about 4.5 hundredths. Last lap time is going to go in advantage of Michael Brock as well, as that's going to be about 2.5 hundredths. So Michael Brock and Joshua Soto basically being the exact same driver here as Mr. Goodwin. Jay Goodwin in that number 1 is going to have to face a drive-through penalty for his penalty reaching 8 incident points. Here we have Michael Brock in the number 421. Still trying to battle with Joshua Soto, and I suppose this is going to be a battle we see all season long. But don't go anywhere, folks. The race number 1 will be over in just a few minutes. But we'll get into heat race number 2 almost right after a 3-minute break. We'll give you time to go to the bathroom, get your snacks, everything you need. You're going to have 2 wheel-to-wheel races here, all in about an hour's time slot. You can't find that anywhere else. Time on the clock is going to be 1 minute and 40 seconds. At the time of crossing, so ideally that should be the white flag, but I didn't see Barney the Flagman waving it. That is going to be a penalty for Mr. Aaron Law in the 468. He is going to have to go to the pits for a drive-through penalty, and that's really, really sad. On the side of Aaron Law, he was doing fantastic, up 8 spots in the grid order from P19 to 11th. And speaking of hard chargers, just 2 places behind Aaron Law is Stan Hammonds. He is up 13 positions in that number 55 Sky Lounge Motorsport Miata. And he even dealt with a few incidents earlier. He had himself a spin as, whoa, rear tire's starting to get a little fishy back there. So we'll have to make sure he doesn't accidentally do it again. But for everything Mr. Hammonds has been through tonight, being 13 positions up is one heck of a showing. Unfortunately, our hardest loser is going to be Gregorio Moreno Jr. In the number 119, he had himself either a technical difficulty or just a straight-up can't-be-asked moment, but he ran into the wall at almost full race speed. He towed back to the pits and has not given it another go here yet. As for the battle behind, it's going to be Michael Tannegretta in the number 200 MAV Motorsport car, being chased by John Cooper. And John Cooper has been through the absolute ringer here tonight. As Joshua Soto almost completing lap number 8, we might be able to get a look at Barney the Flagman, as I do believe, well, the fireworks are going off in the Racer Nexus broadcast booth and on the timing overlay as well. We're going to see if the race pace keeps up. I do believe this is our white flag lap. As no, I apologize, Joshua Soto has taken the checkered flag. So, yeah, no white flag wave from Barney the Flagman there. But it's going to be Joshua Soto at the line. Only 0.2 of a second separate him and the 421 of Michael Brock. Kurt Moss 10 seconds behind is going to bring it home in P3. Thomas Lathrop setting the fastest lap of the race with a 2:15.793, but it was not enough. He finished 400ths behind Kurt Moss. Kelly Greenhoe rounding out your top 5 overall. It's going to be the top 5 for the Going Pros as well. Sean Teeter, Aaron Law, Kent Kruger, Mark Sherman, and Michael Tanagretta going to be your top 5 in the mid-pack Larry's division. And what a fantastic race number 1 it was. It was a crazy hard hit from Gregorio Amareno Jr. Whew. As that will do it for race number 1. We'll take you guys to a short break. Make sure you get your snacks, get your bathroom break, get everything you need, because we're going to do it again right here, top 4 invert. When we come back, it's going to be race number 2 here live on Racer Nexus.
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Racer Nexus Global Broadcast booth. Cars are gridding up, so we will get into our grid for heat race number 2 here. Race number 1 was an exceptional showing of craftsmanship and sportsmanship for the most part. We'll get to that here a little later. But with no other actions needed, we'll get into our starting grid for heat race number 2. And now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, top 4 are going to be inverted. So under those regulations, Thomas Lathrop in the number 84 will be on pole. Kurt Moss in the 282. Almost looking like a highlighter McLaren that a certain John Mansell ran last season in the Tuesday GT4 series. He is in P2 with Michael Brock and Joshua Soto making up row number 2 here. Top 2 from race number 1, P5, Kelly Greenhill in the 012, Sean Teeter in the 117 TPR. Charles Wolf, I apologize, in P7 with TPR in P8. P9 is going to be the 181 of Ryan Ryder with Kent Kruger in P10. P11, Mark Sherman, Stan Hammond in P12. P13 is going to go to Michael Tanacretta with John Cooper on his outside. Little rapid fire here. Brian Zinn, Keegan Garrett. P17 going to be Jeremy Paleska and Corey Mitchell. 19 and 20 is going to be Dylan Foster and Sean Gapinski. But who cares, man? It's just a grid order. The positions are going to change anyway. Green flag in the air. Here we go for heat race number 2. And it's going to be a big drag race between the 84 and the 282. As actually it looks like Michael Brock is maybe going to have a little bit of an advantage off that start. Down into turn number 1. Joshua Soto taking the outside line. Kurt Moss in the 282. Still holding his own against Brock and Soto. Thomas Lathrop, no stranger to leading races here. He is going to take the lead as we get the timing tower expanded here. You guys can see where exactly your favorite driver sits here in the lead in the grid order. And whew, Mike, I know this is your first time probably watching Joshua Soto here in a Miata, but give me your thoughts, man. This dude is the nuts.
Yeah, he's definitely been putting on one heck of a show here today at Nürburgring. And let me tell you what, you know, it's been an absolute blast, you know, watching all of these guys. But, you know, Soto here, he's made some questionable moves, I would say. But at the same time, I'm starting to believe that that is what he might be known for, because he is not backing down from any fight so far here today.
Oh, yeah, no, without a doubt, Joshua Soto got to be one of the most offensive and aggressive drivers we have on the grid, but it is in a fair, safe, and clean manner, as everybody around him always gives him his flowers, and his reputation is pretty gold on this grid. And I mean, we have to showcase Michael Brock as well, the car right behind him. He won a championship last year as Corey Mitchell for Mitchell Motorsports, going to be spinning around. We'll get a look at that here in just a second, but Corey Mitchell not having the brightest of starts here, race number 2 in the Nürburgring, as it's going to be, just the tiniest amount of contact. But that's all it takes to send the Miata around, as, that is not what you want to see. If you're Corey Mitchell, that is not an ideal way to start your second race here. He is going to have to be very, very careful, as the Mad Motorsport driver of Michael Tanacretta having a little bit of a moment there coming out of the final corner. On to the start straight. So these two drivers going to be battling in what seems like an empty field, when really they're all in front, battling it out. Big battle for P5. Kelly Greenhill, Michael Brock, Charles Wolf, and even Ryan Ryder. He's getting himself into the conversation. He is starting to make it apparent that he wants to move up in this race. Now, the 181 of Ryan Ryder having a very electric, very active, and involved race here just a few minutes ago, and that's the 282 of Kurt Moss. He is going to be spinning it in the right-hander as well. And with all the cars behind him, it's going to take him forever to rejoin this circuit. He is going to be all the way down in P25 after starting this race in P2. Let's have another look. Ooh, maybe
he
just a
just
little
lost it.
overzealous on the brake pedal. Yeah, maybe just turning the wheel a bit too much under that brake, and that's going to spell disaster for him. So he is in the back with the likes of Corey Mitchell and Michael Tannegretta. Meanwhile, up towards the front here, we see Ryan Ryder being chased by, I don't even know what is on Kelly Greenho's car, but hey, man, I'm kind of rocking with it. I believe that might be a face. There might be eyes that I see on the hood of that Miata, as I'm not sure, but I do think it would be a good time to say what? Yeah, that's got to be a face. Now I'm just confused, as Jay Goodwin has a meatball flag mechanical failure here, and he's got a McLaren logo on it as well on the Miata, son. What is going on?
Let me tell you what, it is so much fun to decorate these MX5s. I mean, I've ran, you know, a Cars looking paint scheme, to throwing a dragon look on it, to throwing Elmo on it. You just gotta have fun with them, because these guys are so much fun. And I want to jump back to Kelly for a split second, but on the side of Kelly's car, it kind of reminds me of the new upcoming GTA 6 that's getting ready to drop.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. GTA 6 Grand Theft Auto. Now, Jen did mention in the chat that little lad Jason is watching, so maybe cover his ears when we talk about Grand Theft Auto, but there is a car in the back having a little bit of a spin cycle moment, looking like Pascal Siakam in any NBA game you put him into. It's just nothing but spins, as that's going to be the big dog, the 39 of Kent Kruger, and the admin, the boss man, is not going to be too happy about this one. As, oh no, it looks like the 031 of TPR kind of just got into him, but to be honest, he was fine for his life over there on the left edge of the racing surface, so I'm not entirely sure if he really had anywhere to go there. As there's, Michael Tannegretta in the 200. He is going to collect Corey Mitchell. And those two, again, are going to be having a season opener that they want to forget as quick as possible, as they have had a rough one. Kent Kruger not having too much better of a go at it, as he is going to be sitting in P23. We go back to the top. Thomas Lathrop and Joshua Soto. Now, you might have noticed that the overlay was saying they were vying for position for, you know, a few corners now, but Thomas Lathrop had the advantage in a corner, would push it down on the inside. Joshua Soto would just keep his momentum and keep the lead. However, that has changed now with the latest move. Thomas Lathrop back solely in the lead, and someone who's been hanging out to dry for all these interactions is the man that just set the fastest lap, Michael Brock, in the 421. We're in focus with him now. And Mike, we're not halfway to this race just yet, but we know with the 2 minute, almost 2.5 minute lap times we see here out of these Miatas, 12 minutes is not a lot of time to really get cracking. So if you're in the mind of Michael Brock here, what do you got to do?
You know, with these very limited, you know, laps really here, with these two 20-minute sessions, you've got to be up on your game here. You know, there isn't, you know, a 500-mile, you know, time to plan and, you know, this, that, the other. It is go time from the drop of the green flag. And let me tell you what, I'm looking at some of these guys like Aaron Law and Joseph Mayer. You know, they've come up 13, 14 positions since we've gone green flag. So it is possible, but Michael did slip a little bit there on the start. But he is now moving back up, and he is right there on the back bumper of Soto as they're coming through the kink.
Yes, yeah, I 100% agree with you on that one. And what I also would like to add is that I do like the fact that you brought up that this is indeed a sprint race. We are not dealing with, you know, refuels or pit stops or, you know, long stints here. This is 20-minute in and out. So I agree. I think as soon as the green flag drops, you have got to be on your game, much as Joshua Soto is here down on the outside, which is actually going to set him up for the inside of the penultimate corner and the final corner. We'll have to see. Thomas Lathrop gets the car linked through. Joshua Soto going to have to surrender that one, but he can't be too careful because Michael Brock is right behind him. So whoever is in the unfortunate spot of running P2 out of these top three, they've got to feel the pressure from both sides, not just behind them. So for Thomas Lathrop, it's a one-dimensional game here. You keep the cars behind you. But Joshua Soto has to keep a champion, might I add, in Michael Brock behind him. And then also having to pass Mr. Thomas Lathrop in that number 84, which is not going to be easy.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, one thing that, again, I love about these MX5 races is, you know, these guys, they go all out. I don't know what it is about MX5, but the MX5 is probably the most hardest series to win in, I would have to say. I have other words for it, but I can't quite pick them up out of my head again. But it's just when you get into an MX5, there's so much fun, like I said, and it's go time, you know, lap after lap after lap. And man, let me tell you what, I want to be down there right now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. Very, very fun to watch. And I think part of it has to do with how slow and how underpowered they really are. I mean, it feels weird to say this, but a car that, you know, in theory is easier to drive at the top level, if it's easier for you, that in result makes it easier for everyone. And by doing something, it's like that old paradox: if everyone is blank, then no one's blank. If everyone can drive the MX5, then really no one can, because everyone's just the exact same. So it's squeezing that extra, not even 1%. I mean, we're talking 0.5, 0.1% here. To be able to get a clear advantage out of your opponent here in these Miatas, it's very, very important. And what you see Joshua Soto doing right now is using that draft to his advantage. He wants to get up as close to the car he is behind. He wants to get as close to him as possible, because that little bit of speed means that you're not going as fast around your opponent. We're not slingshotting like an F1 car out here with DRS. I mean, as you can see, Joshua Soto had the draft for almost the entire lap, finally decides to slingshot, and he's just barely going to get around the 84 of Thomas Lathrop as we head into turn number 1. So, I mean, you have got to be pixel perfect on everything you do inside of these cars.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's very evenly matched out here. I mean, even if you were to throw, you know, open setups into these cars, you can't really make them any much faster. And so they all pretty much drive the same. So what it comes down to is who can keep it facing forward the most, who can keep it on track, and, you know, most of all, who is the most consistent.
Yep, I agree. Consistency always going to be one of those things that you bring up, especially in the Apex this series and in the Miata series as a whole. These drivers are they're almost carbon copies of each other at the top. I mean, just the performance, the lap times they can put in. Now, you get them out on track, they are vastly different. I mean, you see, we don't have it, but Kevin Zhu, who would normally be driving the 243, very good defensively. Brian Lemke, another one of those drivers, very good defensively. Also, Isaac Silu, who is not here in the 911 Miata. He is another very good defensive driver. So you do have these comparisons that do pale, they do shine, they are saturated through the driving that we get to see them do on a Sunday and Tuesday basis. But yeah, like you said, for the most part, everything here is just pretty much identical. So squeezing out that advantage over your rivals is going to be so much harder. As we see here, Charles Wolf now starting to make a case in P5. Thomas Lathrop has been hit with a drive-through penalty. Now, there is a little bit of strategy to be played here. You have to serve the penalty flag within 3 laps. However, if the finish of the race comes before those 3 laps, you can just take a static post-race time penalty. I believe that penalty is 45 seconds here, so there is a world where maybe, just maybe, Thomas Lathrop can get out to a big advantage, maybe negating the effects of that penalty, but with only 8 minutes left, or not even, we've got about 5.5 minutes remaining here. I think that might be out the window. Thomas Lathrop's race might just be in the dust.
Yeah, definitely. You know, he's had a pretty tough go here, as I try to go to him as he jumps into pits, but
yeah, he might just be calling it there, maybe. Ugh.
Yeah. Tough break.
Not what you want to see. Yeah, not what you want to see from the 84 of Thomas Lathrop, usually one of the Titans here in Apex but the only Titan out on track right now is going to be Joshua Soto in that 0-7. He's got an 0.8 of a second lead over running mate Michael Brock. Ryan Ryder, who you see there, is in the 181, and he is up to P3, fending off both Charles Wolf and Kelly Greenhoe. It's going to be one heck of a, almost I should say, circus, trying to see those two drivers get past Ryan Ryder. We've seen him be very well on the defensive end of his driving here tonight. There's John Cooper. Or I apologize, that's Stan Hammonds. Now the Stan Hammonds and John Cooper have similar looking cars. It's hard to tell them apart, but he is battling Sean Teeter behind them. So a lot of micro battles happening here in just this span of 7 cars.
Yeah, these battles across, you know, the entire, you know, track here is absolutely crazy. As we take a look here at Aaron Law, he's come up 15 positions to get back into this 8th spot after having a little bit of a tough one in the first race. He's come up 15 spots. I'm impressed, and you know, Aaron, I don't know much about this group, but right now he's trying to reel in Sean Teeter in that 117 for the MPL group.
Yes, sir, but he cannot take his eyes off John Cooper, which is exactly what he did down into turn number 1. And John Cooper, although he's normally in the residency of, you know, 10th to 15th, he is showing incredible signs of growth here in our season opener. He is currently up 6 spots into P8. So John Cooper, a little bit of a number switch to that number 9. He was hailing number 77 for the entirety of season number 27, but here in season 28, he has decided to go with a different look on that Miata, shipping the number 9, and it's working well for him currently, much as it is for our leader, Joshua Soto, who Michael Brock has brought down the lead just a tiny bit, down to about 0.4 of a second. Now, it is worth noting that on their best lap here in this race, Michael Brock has a 0.4 advantage, 2:16.813, compared to the 2:16.422. That is Joshua Soto and Michael Brock's best lap time, respectively. And also on the last time around this Nürburgring circuit, it's going to be a 1/10 advantage towards Michael Brock. So, new overlay in credit, or I don't know why I said in credit. We have to credit Mr. Bossman Rob Campbell and a few others who worked on that overlay with him. The brand new graphic revamp here at the Racer Nexus Global Broadcast booth. And before we get in to the Apex Racing post-race show, Joshua Soto, I believe, taking the... Yeah, I believe he took the white flag there, although I couldn't see Barney the Flag Man. So weird how we're not able to see that. But I do want to give a big shout out 2 track cams for gourmets. That's trackcams22.com. They provide all the car and track cameras that you see here tonight and across all of the Racer Nexus broadcast here on the channel. Also want to give a big shout out to Apex Sim Racing. You can go to apexsimracing.com. Use our code RacerNexus for 5% off your order. They got bundle builders on there from the most popular companies, Fanatec, MAZDA, SimMagic. I believe they also have some SimuCube products on there. I don't think they are eligible in the bundle builder, but you can get on there, build a bundle. It doesn't matter what you need, wheel, pedals, sound, chassis, monitors. It does not matter. Head over to Apex Sim Racing Shop, use code RacerNexus, get yourself a little bit of cheddar cheese back for your efforts. Joshua Soto looking to get a little bit of wins in the win department, looking to start Season 1 off with a bang.
I've absolutely enjoyed this racing so far, as I believe we are approaching the final sections of this course here, which we believe might be the final lap. But man, let me tell you what, these guys have put on one heck of a show, and I've really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's so fun. Just being able to see this. I mean, I know we essentially have a job to do. We are the broadcaster, we are the commentator, we have to put on one heck of a show, but just as a race fan, man, I mean, it is an absolute honor to be able to sit here and watch these guys go to war week in and week out, and I'm not entirely sure if we're dealing with the checkered flag here. However, if we are, the 07 Joshua Soto is going to make good on his promise to get a few more wins in that win column. He is going to win race number 2. Michael Brock coming shortly behind Ryan Ryder, Charles Wolf, Kelly Greenhoe. Gonna round out your top 5. John Cooper in the number 9 is going to claim victory here in the mid-pack Larry's division, the 117 beast of Sean Teeter coming in right behind him. Aaron Law in the 468. Mike touched on it a little bit. Not the greatest of outings there in race number 1, but he is going to get a MPL podium. The second go around, Christopher Croto, Mark Sherman rounding out your top 5, but there's the man of the hour, Joshua Soto. In the number 07, we walk into Nürburgring here in Germany. And much like the German national team walked into the U.S. for this World Cup, they have decided to dominate. As Joshua Soto going to just do Joshua Soto things, man. I mean, it is incredible. Everyone always comments on it. Every Sunday, every time. Joshua Soto is out on the track. Jen Brock, Michael Brock's wife, said he is an absolute beast. We say it all the time. We'll say it again. Joshua Soto is the man around here. Will it be his season? It very well might be. Michael Brock is going to post the fastest lap of the race. However, that is going to clock in. Well, I actually can't see his lap times anymore, so very unfortunate there. However, it was fast. It was faster than all of his rivals out on track. I do know that. Whew, well.
There it is.
Missed. There as well. They don't want to tell us either, man. They are trying to deprive us from seeing the absolutely goated lap times set by them. And that is going to bring us to our Apex Racing, I apologize, post-race show, and our first interview is going to go to the 181 of Mr. Ryan Ryder, who finishes on pole here in race number 2. And sorry about that, Ryan, but because I have a peanut brain, I'm not entirely sure how you did in the first race, but I'm sure it was pretty good. How are you feeling here tonight?
Fantastic. My heart is racing. But first race, I qualified 18th, got to 9th.
Oh, yes, that is right. You were up 9 spots there, which gave you a very good position in the grid for heat race number 2 here. Now tell me, what was it like going up against, the likes of Joshua Soto, Michael Brock, Charles Wolf, Kelly Greenhoe, who has seemed to come into this season 8 with a fiery attitude out on track. He is going to be very good. How did it feel matching up with all these Apex this Titans?
It was a fantastic race on it. My heart was racing the entire time. Soto and Brock, um, they walked away eventually, but fighting with Wolf and Greenhoe was just fantastic racing all around.
Yeah, Charles Wolf, very, very respected, very good defensive driver. And I do have to say, I feel like Charles Wolf, his style is a little more defensive than offensive. Could you feel that with him being behind you? Did it feel just a little less powerful than maybe if you were trailing Charles Wolf?
When I was trailing him, I noticed he was very defensive. His braking was very smooth and safe, but he had a good line. It was hard to get around him. I had
Yeah.
to use T1 to get a run and then get on the inside.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, these drivers, they put on their A game every single time we're out here. And I do have to ask you, Ryan, are you familiar with the schedule? Do you know where you guys are going throughout the season? I know some guys, they kind of just play it by ear. Some guys look ahead.
I've looked at a schedule, but I don't have good memory, so I just show up whatever the track is with zero
Well,
practice and just send it.
Well, I do have to say, my personal favorite is going to be your championship round at Spa. However, I think a big race that a lot of people might be circling might be that round 5 Rogue Brands Hatch on the calendar. You don't see that a ton in league, so what's it mean to you to be able to take the Miata out to Brands Hatch and really get a rip on that very old school Formula 1 circuit?
I do not like Brands Hatch.
Oh,
it's it's
no.
it's one of those tracks I've never been a fan of. It's just T1 especially, it's just an annoying corner. It's tight, small track, but it's in X5 probably will be a fun with at least a 30 car grid. But that would be a track to watch for incidents at least. T1 and then like I think it's like 10. It's the two tight right-handers towards the end.
Yes, yes. Yeah, those are very, very difficult, and I'll be looking. I'll be looking for you here at round 5 Brands Hatch because I want to see you go above and beyond. I want to see you take the weakness and turn it into a strength. But that's in 4 weeks' time. You got a month
Yeah.
of racing before you get there. We're gonna let you get out of here and
Yeah.
celebrate this P3 here tonight. Is there
Yeah.
anybody you would like to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Honestly, Wolf's battling was fantastic, and just I'm happy myself. My first podium, but then if I lost to Wolf though, I would have been mad.
Well, congratulations on your inaugural podium here in the Apex this Mazda Cup Series. And hopefully we're speaking to you a little more throughout the season.
You too, man.
So that was the 181 of Ryan Ryder. And Mr. Producer, Mike, if it's okay, I believe you are with the second place finisher here in race number 2 tonight, going to be the 421 of Michael Brock.
Hey man, hey Mac, how you doing?
Hey, man, Michael, what an incredible day for you. You did the invert. I believe you finished, what was that, second in the first race. But man, let me tell you what, you were just on absolute rails today. What was it like out there trying to track down Josh? And was the track slick at all for you?
Yeah, Josh was he was really, really fast. He was a little bit faster, so man, it was just tough to keep up. Only had a few times where I could maybe kind of send it side by side, but I don't know. It didn't really kind of seem smart at the time. And especially second race, he was kind of giving a lot of pressure to Thomas up front. So I was kind of waiting to see what was going to happen there. And I don't know. I'm curious to see what happened to Thomas because he was having a really good race, but yeah, it was pretty slick, not insane. That first section is like you're pretty tail happy through half of it. So, but not worse than I think the temps weren't insanely high today.
Yeah, Mac and I were talking a little bit during the race, and he was saying that, man, you are just one heck of a driver out there, and you really showed it to me today. Coming home second, and next week we are heading. I just had the schedule up too, and now I don't even remember. Next week we're heading to Olton Park. That's where we're going. What are you gonna have to do?
Alton.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna have to do to get that W
So
over there?
I would love if it stays at Alton Park, but I'm not sure if it's gonna, because so we ran into an issue with P Cup, where I think we had like 50 cars in the last race, and then this next week, because P Cup and MX5, they run on the same track every week. So next week is Alton Park, but they're switching it to VIR because they kind of found out, the admins found out that the track can only handle 40 cars. So if we have a race with us 50 contestants, that won't really work out. So I'm curious if we're gonna stick with Alton Park for MX5 or switch that to VIR. So we'll have to see.
Oh yeah, well that's
But either
two
one,
totally
either
different
one's good.
tracks.
Yeah, either one's good for me. I personally would rather have Alton Park because I'm not a big fan of the big draft tracks, but VIR is good too. So I'm good with either one.
Perfect, man. But Mike, man, what an incredible day for you here today. And before we let you go, is there anybody that you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just everyone who showed up today, all the admins, everyone at Apex This, and my lovely wife Jen, who I believe watched the whole thing, and maybe Jason, my son might have watched it too. So, but I'll see after this. But special thanks to them.
Absolutely. Well, Mike, congratulations again on your second place finish, and we'll see you next week at whatever track they decide to bring us to.
Yeah, right. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. That was Michael Brock in the 421. And now I have the honor with speaking to our winner here tonight, as I believe you went on the sweep, right, Josh? Was that 2 out of 2 tonight?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I mean, come on. It doesn't get any simpler than that for Joshua Soto. No, I downplay it as if it was something easy for you. But my first question for you, I want to get into it. Michael Brock with, some of the Titans, Jim Feliz, Brian Lemke not being here. Did that make it feel a little more easy or, a little less stressful out on track?
I mean, it definitely is less less stressful because it's always harder when you have like a lot of people that are really fast, all on the same track because yeah, everybody's fast and it's a lot easier to lose positions because you'll have some drivers that can make the move and then you get sent down and you have to work your way back up versus a lot of other fast drivers. So it would definitely be like a lot more stressful if they were more fast drivers. But the drivers that are here were they're really really fast. So I can't really complain.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. You finished on the top step of the rostrum both times out here tonight. And I want to kind of pick your brain for just a minute. Now, unfortunately, last season, the long-term vision didn't exactly go your way. Now we're suited up season 28. You're on a fresh slate. More importantly, it's a new slate. Do you have proper championship aspirations this season? Do you think the championship is something you can grab?
Yeah, I think it's definitely something there. I'll try to make every single race. Speaking of making every single race, I might not be able to make one next month, but as much as possible, try to make every race. I believe that definitely went against my went against the standings in, last year, or last season. But yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility that I could win here.
Well, good. Hey, I'm going to quote you on that one because I also think with the proper attendance, it will be very, very possible. It will be very cool to see. how you approached this season. We're going to let you get out of here and celebrate your double win here tonight to start off season number 28. But before we do that, Mr. Soto, is there anybody you would like to thank or shout out for the performance here tonight?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'd like to thank first of all Apex this and for the next season and all the sponsors and stuff that who donated for the league, and also like to thank my sponsor Academy Sim Racing, and I'd like to thank you guys. You guys do great commentary. It's really fun to watch after the race. So and I'd like to thank my friends and my family. Sorry.
Well, on behalf of everybody here at Racer Nexus, we appreciate the kind words on the broadcast. All eyes will be on you, sir, as our defending winner heading into next week. Joshua Soto in the 07 completing the sweep here tonight at the Nürburgring.
All right, thank you.
And so that's going to do it for us here in the Racer Nexus Global broadcast booth. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen, because on this Racer Nexus channel, there's a very good chance that you can catch the end of the Freedom Motorsport Alliance Gen 4 League going on right now. On Mondays, we have the Pony Express Sim Racing GT3 Challenge, along with the FMA GT3 League. Those start at 8:30 Eastern and 9:45 Eastern, respectively. Tuesday, going to be Apex this Porsche Cup. A lot of these drivers going to be on the grid for that. We had 50 Porsches last week here at the Nürburgring, so I'm waiting to see what they do wherever they decide to go for week number 2. You also have Throttle Freaks GT3 going on. And then on Thursdays, we have the MAZDA High Point Racing League with the Freedom Motorsport Alliance World Endurance Championship season. That is 9 o'clock and 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So from everybody here at Racer Nexus, my name is Mac Nelson. Joining me in the booth, Mike Taylor on the production. Big round of applause for him as he killed it as always. Big shout out to Apex Sim Racing, track cams for gourmets, Apex this, and none other than the network you're watching us on right now. That is Racer Nexus. We'll go through your final standings of the race here one time because I forgot to bring it up sooner. That is on me, but I believe we are seeing race number 2 here. Yes, that is going to be Joshua Soto in P1, Michael Brock P2, Ryan Ryder P3 with Charles Wolf, Kelly Greenhoe, John Cooper, Sean Teeter, Aaron Law, Brian Zinn, Christopher Croto, Mark Sherman, Joe Mayer, Harrison Meanley, Kurt Moss, TPR, and Sean Gapinski, wrapping your top 16. 17 is going to be Sean Giroux, Dylan Foster, Keegan Garrick, Jeremy Pileska, the newcomer, Kent Kruger, the big dog, representing Big Dog Racing, Patrick Wilson, Stan Hammonds, Jay Goodwin, Michael Tanagretta, Thomas Lathrop, Corey Mitchell, Gregorio Amarino Jr., Spencer Bodwin, and Greg Boyce. Ladies and gentlemen, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. And we'll see you in the next one.
There might be some rain coming through. We expect rain soon. Rain is close. The session has been declared wet. No sign of this rain stopping.